Welcome back. You're watching the Fox Business Network. Here is the Democrats' policies for jobs and growth. There's nothing. Right out of the gate, there's a big nothing burger on those at that end of the economy. Potential 2020 contender Elizabeth Warren blaming capitalism for the rise of China and Russia. Also suggesting government-run drug factories to manufacture generic drugs. Yes, federal drug factories. That's Elizabeth Warren's ideas. Plus, other leading Democrats looking to hold hearings on Medicare for All, which would cost more than about 7 countries' GDP combined over a 10-year period. Also talking about abolishing the Electoral College that elected Democrat presidents going back to Andrew Jackson. So is this really the best that they've got? Policies that are AWOL, that are not there, and policies that won't work and will cause middle-class taxes to go up. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Deneen Borelli and Democrat strategist Kevin Walling. Great to see you both.
Good to be with you, Liz.
Hey, Liz. Deneen, I hate to say it, but it's like Democrats are walking around like they're in that movie Bird Box, blindfolded. I mean, if they enacted all of the programs, they'd have to tax the middle class.
Oh, my gosh. It's obvious Democrats have not learned anything from the last presidential election, which was about jobs and the economy. And they're running around talking about anything but jobs and the economy. But I say keep running around with the blindfold on, just like you mentioned with the movie, because they're clearly not connecting with the voters. People want to be employed. They want to work. They want to be able to support their families. And they want to have disposable income to do so. So what they're proposing, higher taxes, this new green, whatever it is, it's not going to help hardworking Americans.
Yeah, and Kevin, Nancy Pelosi talking about resurrecting a 10-year-old program about cap and trade that failed. They were talking about, raising taxes to battle climate change. But Kevin, you saw this too. Look what happened in France when France tried to do that. The people rioted in the streets.
Sure, Liz. Well, I think, as we've seen after just day one of Democratic control, and we've got to keep that in mind, that the Democrats have been in power just for one day. You saw late night votes to open our government, a bipartisan solution that passed the House of Representatives to reopen our government, to keep funding levels for the border at the same level as they were in the last funding year. And Democrats are focused on solutions. Overwhelmingly in this last election cycle, Americans went to the polls and said, we want checks and balances on this administration, and we want Democrats to work with Republicans across the aisle. That's what you're already seeing out of this administration, not some of the fringe left ideas coming out of Congressman Ocasio-Cortez or others. But let's focus on actually what the leadership is pushing for under Nancy Pelosi.
All right, $1.6 billion is what they're talking still about for border wall. I mean, they've blown tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars on government waste. I just don't get it. It feels like a phony fight. And by the way, Deneen, Cortez won with only 16,000 votes. Now she wants to upend the entire economy. I mean, her ideas are completely frivolous and breathtakingly tedious. Let's move up to the next question, because this is what I really want to get to with Deneen. The high tax rates that they're talking about right now, Deneen, triggered recessions every other year during the Eisenhower administration. That's this false halcyon error that the Democrats like to cite. I mean, this whole idea about tax hikes, that's their answer?
Yeah, tax hikes will not help hardworking Americans. And Ocasio-Cortez is also talking about taxing the tippy-top percent, whatever that means. But look, that percentage of people who are wealthy, we will not see them donate as much as they do to organizations that need the money. We will not see them invest in startup companies and that will provide jobs for Americans. So they're going to harm those who are able to help Americans with jobs and help out with the economy. They're going to be punishing them, which doesn't help the country.
It just feels like we're dealing with the D.C. bubble thinking again, where they're not out there in the heartland or middle America, just ignoring, what Americans are saying that they want, Kevin.
Well, Americans, again, as I said, overwhelmingly went to the polls wanting checks and balances. No one in Democratic leadership.
What they went to the polls about, the large reason why the Democrats won the House was because of pre-existing conditions which the Republicans are working on.
Pre-existing conditions absolutely was certainly part of it. But I think they also wanted to check overwhelmingly in exit polls on this administration. But again, Liz, you have the quotes of one member from the Bronx. Liz, you have one member of the House that's out there talking about this, but the vast majority, especially those in leadership in the Democratic Party, are focused on middle class.
There's more. There's more than that. And by the way, there's about over 120 Democrats support Medicare for All, which would need whopping middle class tax hikes to pay for them. That's the intellectually dishonest part of the Democrats, Kevin. They don't acknowledge how middle class taxes have to go up to pay for their whoppingly expensive programs.
Liz, Democrats would rather pay for health care for poor people in this country than $1.5 billion in tax cuts for the most wealthy.
All right, Deneen, go ahead. Take that on.
Yeah, but so nothing is free, Liz, and Democrats are running on freebies, whether it's free phones, free college tuition, free health care. Nothing is free. Someone has to pay for it. We have enough debt and spending going on in our country as is, and what they are proposing is not going to help the economy, and it's not going to help hardworking Americans. So giving freebies away
the healthcare sector
is not the message.
Doctors and nurses say it would collapse the healthcare system, Medicare for all. But I am so sorry, Kevin. I want you guys back on. We had to leave it there. Kevin, you gave some good fiery fights there.
Happy belated birthday, too, Liz.
Thank
Happy belated birthday.
Thanks for reminding me of getting older. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take it. Deneen and Kevin, good to see you both.